Long before humans appeared, venomous predators existed on Earth. They do not possess overwhelming strength. They are not the fastest species. But just one precise bite is enough to change the entire situation. Millions of years of evolution have turned venom into one of the most terrifying weapons in the natural world. And when these predators strike, the end usually comes in a way that the prey never has a chance to prepare for. Welcome to the world of the deadliest hunts, where venomous snakes showcase predatory instincts that have existed on Earth for millions of years. King Cobra versus Python. Amidst the green grass, a classic life and death clash erupts between two giants. Injected with venom, the giant python immediately counterattacks by coiling tightly around the enemy's body to survive. Contrary to common belief, the python's constriction blow does not cause suffocation at all. They apply the mechanism of ischemia. The massive pressure from the muscle blocks will completely cut off the blood flow back to the heart, causing the opponent to die from circulatory arrest in just a few short minutes. However, the giant amount of neurotoxic venom of the king cobra took effect before its heart stopped beating. The brutal feast officially begins. To handle the giant mass of meat, the Lord's digestive system produces an extremely harsh protein-degrading enzyme mixture. This solution is strong enough to dissolve all the most solid bone structures, simultaneously generating a giant amount of endogenous heat warming the body. The wild kingship is always built with blood, a testament to the unfeeling operation of nature. Murka snake. Amidst the fiery, desolate desert of Australia, a giant hunting machine is slithering. And the prey today is exactly its own kind. The mulga snake, a reptile not possessing the strongest venom, but sowing death with a giant amount of toxin for each bite. The diet of this desert king includes exactly other highly venomous snake species, especially its own kind. The assassin uses its forked tongue to continuously collect scent particles. This chemical signal is sent to the Jacobson's organ in the palate, recreating a perfect three-dimensional map of the prey's trail. Following the characteristic scent, the ruthless ruler heads straight to a narrow cave hidden underground. The fatal bite strikes down. A giant amount of myotoxin is pumped straight into the blood vessels, ruthlessly liquefying all the opponent's muscle tissues. In this harsh kingdom, absolute power is always fostered by the corpses of its own kind. Python versus rat. Night falls. A young python slithers out of its burrow. It scans the cold ground, starting its hunting work like every day.
Approach patiently.
When the rat's silhouette appears, The instinctive bite immediately tears the wind, lunging forward.
Small problem.
The python continuously throws itself, keeping close, but all miss. The hunted one thoroughly utilizes its tiny stature, using lightning-fast dodges to widen the boundary between life and death. Realizing the disadvantage, the python changes tactics. It presses its body close to the ground, coldly judging the opponent's movement trajectory. Just a split second, the prey halts. The punishing blow immediately hits the target. Thanks to the sensors under the belly scales, the assassin will measure and only stop the pressing force when the opponent's heartbeat stops. The life is extinguished, etching deeply the sharp, cold operation of creation. Sidewinder rattlesnake versus lizard. Amidst the barren desert region, the sidewinder rattlesnake is displaying an unprecedented moving skill named sidewinding. Instead of slithering straight, this biological machine throws each body segment forward in continuous diagonal lines. This special mechanical method helps them minimize the contact area with the burning sand. By maintaining only 2 touch points with the ground at the same time, the assassin safely protects the internal organ system from extreme temperatures. When setting up the battlefield, the hunter uses intercostal muscles to completely bury itself under the sand. This structure allows the assassin to accurately observe and measure the distance to the lizard, blindly stepping towards the puddle of death. The sand surface explodes. The trap snaps shut in a flash. The victim is exactly a giant biological water bag, helping the assassin quench its thirst. The wild law always operates unfeelingly. King cobra versus viper. In the cramped space of the glass enclosure, the king cobra and the viper have absolutely no empty space to dodge. This environment forces them to face off directly, and the king cobra quickly seizes the initiative. Instinctively, the viper twists and coils its body to defend, accidentally narrowing the king cobra's attack range in the small space. The cobra has accurately calculated this reflex. The complex venom immediately spreads, relentlessly attacking the nervous system and crushing all the prey's resistance efforts. During the swallowing process, the 2 lower jaw halves of the cobra detach from each other, flexibly pulling the victim entirely into the stomach. To maintain the breathing rhythm, the trachea tube is pushed askew to one side of the lip edge, helping the hunter not suffocate despite having to digest for a long time. That is a cold, perfect picture of nature, where any terrifying hunter has a natural enemy born to counter it itself. Gaboon viper versus guinea fowl. Under the leaf litter, the death machine named Gaboon viper is hiding itself. They possess breakthrough camouflage art with patterns blending into the dry leaf layer. It patiently waits for the guinea fowl flock to step into the death zone themselves. The thunderous pounce erupts. The assassin sinks the longest venomous fangs in the wild world into the opponent. The 5-centimeter biological blade pierces the muscle layer, pumping straight a giant amount of cell-necrotizing toxin. The mechanical impact and venom devastate the circulatory system, completely crushing the victim's resistance ability. The detached jaw joints calmly swallow the large carcass whole. Innocence always has to pay with blood to maintain the wild throne. Snake versus bird. Amidst the dense tree canopy, a small bird nest is bustling with cries demanding food. The mother bird's diligence takes place continuously, without resting to load enough energy for the super-fast development process of the fragile brood. But this noise has brought disaster. Taking advantage of the mother bird's absence, a tree snake silently approaches. It seems this snake is just learning to hunt. It still does not know how to finish off a larger prey. Luckily, the mother bird returned in time. The maternal instinct explodes. It activates an extreme defensive behavior, using its wings and beak to launch consecutive attacks. Maternal power has broken the scythe of death. Amidst cruel nature, fragile life is always sheltered by the most extraordinary courage. Monitor lizard versus cobra. On the asphalt road, a cobra is sinking its fangs deep into the monitor lizard's nape. However, the thick, horny scales and tough skin structure of the monitor lizard act as a natural armor, significantly reducing the penetration ability of the venomous fangs. Despite carrying the predator on its back, the victim still stubbornly drags its steps. Exhaustion causes the monitor lizard to gradually slow down. By locking tight onto the victim, the snake maintains its jaws at a fixed position, ensuring the venom amount has enough time to slowly penetrate the circulatory system. The moment the snake just loosens its jaws to readjust for a deeper bite, the monitor lizard immediately seizes the opportunity to escape. King cobra versus python. In the natural world, clashes between reptiles always take place silently, but full of brutality. Attacked unexpectedly and being weaker, the reticulated python still tries to fight back fiercely. It uses its body to coil tightly around the hunter's head and neck, striving to defend, aiming to seek a chance of survival. However, the attacker patiently maintains pressure and does not loosen the grip at all. With nearly 700 milligrams of venom pumped out each bite, facing the king, cobra is exactly seeking death. Overwhelming power makes the python's resistance gradually weaken. The king cobra begins the swallowing process, despite the python's lower half still stubbornly constricting tight around the enemy. The predator's flexible jaws slowly expand, bringing the victim's entire body inside, marking the cold but inevitable outcome of the food chain. Frog versus snake. The brilliant red hue amidst the foliage is nature's warning. While it confidently moves through the leaves, a danger is silently approaching. Under the mossy forest carpet, a snake is sniffing to seek its target. This dart frog is tiny, but its skin secretes an extremely potent toxin. The predator slowly closes in, seemingly ignoring the warning color of the prey in front of it. The encounter takes place right on the ground. The lightning-fast attack is launched. The snake bites tight and begins to swallow the victim. The red frog's chemical weapon seemed completely useless against this violent power. But the toxin begins to take effect. The amount of secreted toxin makes the snake unable to endure further. It is forced to release the victim and hurriedly slithers away. In nature, silence often hides upheavals. A bumpy toad sits motionless on the dry ground, silently observing. The camouflage layer helps it blend into the scenery. In the damp, swampy area, small toad individuals are hiding in the mud, completely unaware of the lurking danger. The predator appears. A snake slithers through the shallow water, continuously flicking its tongue to probe. The soundless movement turns it into a ghost under the water surface. The snake launches an accurate bite. However, the jaw pressure ruptures the poison glands, pushing chemicals directly into the snake's oral mucosa and tongue. However, after the bite, the little frog also did not survive. The red ant colony swarms over the tree branch, aiming at the giant toad, slowly dying from the toxin. Mussurana versus Corredera. The black snake evolved specifically to hunt its own kind. Today, the opponent is the Corredera. The two muscle masses coil and constrict, and it seems the Mussurana has gained the advantage. It increases the constricting force every time the victim exhales to force cardiac arrest. The fatal bite to the head is exactly what decides the fate when snake species face off. When life fades away, the black snake leisurely swallows the target. The seasoned hunter silently closes the life and death cycle to absorb energy. Python versus chicken. Under the daylight, the seemingly peaceful coop area suddenly has the appearance of an uninvited guest. A large python. And it seems to be hungry. It advances inside. The chickens do not seem to realize the threat right next to them. Not acting in a hurry, the python coils itself to hide among the pile of dry grass. When the sun sets, The chickens have found a place to sleep on the wooden bar. At this time, the predator finally takes action. With infrared heat-sensing eyes, striking at night will make the python's success rate almost certain. With slow movements, the python slithers close to the prey under the advantage of darkness. Suddenly, it launches a lightning-fast strike. Immediately, the python's muscular body tightly constricts the chicken. The constriction mechanism of this species is extremely brutal. They not only crush bones, but also quickly block blood circulation and oxygen, stripping away the prey's life in just a few short seconds of struggling. The battle closes with the harsh, unchangeable survival law of nature. Horned viper versus mouse. In the quiet desert night, an invisible hunter is patiently hiding itself. The horned viper, with perfectly camouflaged scales under the sand, slightly opens its deadly mouth wide. Under the dim moonlight, a small mouse is engrossed in searching for food through the dry branches. It is completely unaware that the cold, sharp eyes of the enemy have locked tightly onto it. And then, with an unavoidable lightning-fast lunge, the predator launches the attack. The fangs directly inject a volume of hemotoxic venom, quickly destroying tissues and paralyzing the victim's body. When the resistance has ended, it leisurely swallows the motionless prey into its stomach. Swift and cold, the harsh survival law of nature is once again executed. Snake versus monkey. Mouse. The capuchin monkey is moving on the cliff when it detects an unusual sign. Vigilance is clearly visible as a snake slithers through their territory. The cold-blooded predator silently weaves through the crevices. When a small mouse hurriedly runs past, the snake launches a lightning-fast strike, snatching the prey right on the cliff. From high above, the monkey troop attentively observes. The snake begins to constrict its prize tightly. Curiosity urges the primate troop to approach near the clash area. Right at that moment, another mouse unexpectedly appears. Not missing the opportunity, the monkey agilely clings to the cliff and snatches the target itself. Grasping the reward firmly, it quickly carries the prey and runs away to avoid being robbed. Finally, the monkey troop gathers safely on the tree branch, ending a lightning-fast survival moment in nature. Python versus duck. A brief encounter between two species with a too massive difference in strength. Just one decisive movement, all resistance becomes useless. The python's muscular body immediately coils tightly around the Muscovy duck. The powerful constriction coils lock the prey tight at the muddy puddle. The duck is submerged in the water, completely helpless before the overwhelming power. When the hunted prey stops resisting, the python begins to position itself to proceed with the consumption process. The python's lower jaw joints are not fused together, combined with an extremely elastic neck skin layer, allowing it to expand its mouth many times over. Bit by bit, it swallows the prey intact into the digestive system. Nature is always cold, but full of miracles. Subscribe to the channel to continue the journey of exploring the wild world. Green rat snake versus masked palm civet. On the ground, a green rat snake is cautiously moving, its tongue continuously flicking out, helping it sense subtle changes from the surrounding environment. At the same time, on the tree branch, a masked palm civet unexpectedly faces the snake. Recognizing the threat, the masked palm civet immediately stops, opening its mouth very wide to reveal its teeth to threaten and clearly show a defensive posture. The green rat snake reaches its head out, launching lightning-fast strikes. Good reflexes help the masked palm civet dodge in time, continuously stepping back on the tree branch to keep a safe distance, but still unceasingly warning. The battle shifts. The green rat snake coils its body tightly onto the tree branch. The bold masked palm civet hangs upside down right below, continuing to threaten and at times biting back at the snake's hanging body part. Realizing the tug-of-war is deadlocked, the masked palm civet proactively retreats far away. On the ground, the green rat snake also slowly slithers away, ending a tense clash in the deep forest. Mangrove snake versus king cobra. The mangrove snake possesses formidable venom, delivered through a compact set of fangs located deep at the back of the palate. Despite being dangerous, it still falls into the crosshairs of the king cobra. Different from its prey, the king cobra is equipped with a pair of venomous fangs located right at the front of the jaw. The snake's attacks all take place in just a blink of an eye. The strength and speed of the hunter are completely overwhelming. The king cobra tightens its jaws, continuously moving to embed its fangs deeper, ensuring the deadly venom is fully injected into the victim's nerve roots. When the opponent is completely paralyzed, it opens its mouth wide, slowly swallowing the prey's entire body in a cold manner. Water snake versus toad. Amidst the barren rocky crevice, a steep valley hides a rare water source. This place is the stage for a natural survival battle. This quiet oasis is attracting many creatures. The hunter has finally appeared. Amidst the rocky gravel, the toad herd blends perfectly into the camouflaged environment to avoid the gaze of hidden enemies. It glides without a sound, its tongue continuously probing the space to sniff out clues of prey. The snake raises its head high, its sharp, cold eyes locking onto the target. It slowly closes in on the toad on the rock. But the toad's body is too accustomed to freezing motionlessly, with poor eyesight. The snake can hardly recognize this prey. Death adder versus lizard. Silence is sometimes the most terrifying weapon. The death adder does not need to chase, but chooses an ambush strategy. The rough scales help them camouflage invisibly amidst the sand, waiting patiently. A lizard approaches, completely unaware of the danger. Activating a peak biological tactic called caudal luring, the predator lies motionless, only exposing its narrow tail tip. The tail continuously twitches, perfectly simulating a wriggling larva. This optical illusion deceives the lizard's vision. Curiosity overwhelms vigilance. It approaches the attractive meal without knowing it is stepping into a death trap. The distance is just right. The trap snaps shut. Possessing one of the fastest strikes in the world under 0.15 seconds, it did not yield an escape route for the prey. King cobra versus snake. Do you know why the king cobra is a nightmare to its own kind? Their scientific name, Ophiophagus, exactly means snake eater. The giant king pins its venomous jaws into the victim's head, despite the prey struggling and constricting, desperately hoping to escape. The neurotoxin is silently destroying the respiratory system and paralyzing all of the victim's resistance. This silent patience is exactly nature's cruel death sentence. When the prey submits, the feast begins. The king cobra's salivary glands secrete a large amount of mucus, covering the prey to reduce friction, helping swallowing become smoother. They always prioritize swallowing from the head, so the prey's scales and bones follow the direction of the throat, avoiding internal injury. A creepy testament to perfect biological adaptation. Kukal versus snake. Do you know kukals are formidable terrestrial assassins? When facing a snake, the kukal immediately spreads its reddish-brown wings wide. This is a visual threat tactic in nature, aimed at confusing the opponent and not knowing where to attack. They cautiously move around, using the dense feather layer as a natural armor for defense, ready to dodge the desperate lightning-fast strikes of the prey. Seizing the opportunity, the cuckoo lunges forward. Their large and sturdy beak evolved specifically to launch a fatal blow, easily clamping tight and damaging the spinal structure of reptiles. The snake twists in pain in a final counterattack effort. However, the cuckoo uses its feet to hold tight and continuously thrashes the prey against the ground. King cobra versus rat snake. Deep in the tropical forest, life intertwines with hidden danger. The king cobra is silently patrolling its territory. The forked tongue continuously collects scents, probing every smallest vibration around. King cobra, sullen, heavy, and full of authority. A king specializing in hunting other snake species. Rat snake, persistent, reckless, and always searching everywhere to find prey. Its muscular body glides tirelessly through the dry leaf layers. Cobra has sniffed out the opponent's scent. The molecules in the air tell it a stranger is very close. The distance keeps narrowing with every slithering rhythm. The atmosphere becomes tense. A lightning-fast strike. The king cobra sinks its venomous fangs into the opponent's body. The king cobra's prey-swallowing process is a combination of precise mechanical technique and harsh survival instinct. With a masterful jaw-walking technique and the help of an isolated breathing tube, the king cobra leisurely brings long prey into its stomach, turning the hunt into a perfect mechanical process of the apex of the food chain. Milk snake versus lizard. Under the quiet night, a milk snake is slithering through the leaf layer. It is a testament to perfect evolution, with an extremely keen vibration detection ability. A bite breaks the space. The snake immediately coils tightly around the lizard. This constriction blow doesn't just use muscle. It stops blood circulation, causing the victim's heart to stop beating even before suffocation. The wise snake waits for every breath of the opponent to tighten further. The winner of this duel is not the largest one, but the one with ultimate skills. The critical bite right at the head has locked all movements. Thanks to flexible, unfused jawbones, the snake easily swallows prey larger than its own head whole. An energy-rich meal will help it maintain life for many weeks to come without needing to hunt. King cobra versus snake. In a confined space, a cruel hunt of the reptile world is taking place. The king cobra, with a completely overwhelming size, always proactively advancing. The small snake tries to find a way to escape, but cannot. The critical bite locks the opponent's body tight. The prey twists, desperately trying to escape. But the power disparity is too obvious. With 500 to 700 milligrams of venom pumped out per bite, this snake hunter only needs to choose the attack position and hold the bite until the injected venom reaches the maximum level. For small snake species, facing a king cobra is facing death itself. It has gradually slithered up to the prey's head to prepare to fill its hungry stomach. Not only carrying a massive amount of venom in each bite, the cobra is also a supreme toxin resistor against many different types of venom, turning them into almost invincible snake hunters. Not in a hurry. Every movement is incredibly precise. Very soon after, the prey's entire body is neatly nestled inside the winner. Snake versus lizard. The tense encounter begins when the small snake proactively launches a lightning-fast strike at the skink. However, the thick scales and keen reflexes help the lizard immediately spin around to counterattack, forcing the opponent to retreat into a defensive posture. Both have no way to retreat, and the snake in a state of chaos is forced to attack the opponent at all costs. The snake continuously tests with strikes, but the lizard still holds its position firmly. With a reaction time measured in milliseconds and the ability to accelerate like an arrow, the long-tailed skink turns encounters into a performance of speed. The superiority in speed and reflexes seems to have turned the lizard into an invincible opponent when facing snakes, adversaries that are many times slower than them. Eagle versus rabbit. Cold, sharp eyes and keen vision. The golden eagle is one of the dominant predators of the sky. Amidst the mountains and snow-covered wilderness, they continuously patrol their territory. A hare with a snow-white coat is trying to blend into the freezing snow layer to hide. But the camouflage seems to be insufficient before the penetrating gaze of the predator. From high above, the eagle spreads its broad wings, continuously scanning the rugged terrain to look for potential targets. The high-speed pursuit begins close to the low bushes. The hare tries to escape using speed, but the patience and flying skills of the eagle have brought the advantage. A decisive swoop closes the distance. The deadly talons pin tightly into the white fur. The powerful impact has ended the escape. Hawk versus iguana. On the barren land, an iguana crawls out of its burrow. Its movements cannot bypass the eyes of the apex predator. The hawk is patiently observing, gliding over the jagged cliffs. On the ground, the iguana herd basking in the sun is completely unaware. Suddenly, one spots the threat. It hurriedly dashes away in panic. In a flash, the hawk swoops down, The sharp talons pin the iguana tightly down to the dusty, rocky ground. The bird of prey tightens its legs, extinguishing all resistance. Without hesitation, the hawk carries the prize, soaring into the arid sky to return to the nest. Here, a tiny life is waiting. The cycle of nature, though cold, is the source of life to maintain the next generation. Red-tailed hawk versus bat. Under the twilight sky, the red-tailed hawk spreads its wings, flying into the middle of a giant bat colony. Thousands of bats form a swirling vortex that obscures the vision. Locking onto a target in this chaotic crowd is a real challenge. Facing the overwhelming number, the hawk must highly concentrate, patiently hovering right above the flock to look for individuals flying astray. It swoops and glides, continuously changing directions and performing tactical somersaults close to the bat colony's formation. Speed is the key factor to catch up with the prey. Patience finally brings results. Aiming at the right moment, the hawk suddenly swoops down, unleashes the sharp talons on its hind legs, and completes the spectacular hunt. Owl versus falcon. Amidst the silent night, the falcon takes advantage of the time its chicks are sleeping. It takes the opportunity to go hunting. Suddenly, a threat lunges in right after. A large owl unexpectedly breaks in with a physical advantage. The night predator immediately rushes in to knock down and suppress the falcon. Luckily, the mother bird has returned in time. Regardless of whether the intruder is strong or weak, she only has one single goal, which is to fight to protect the chicks. And the chick robber finally has to give up. Secretary bird versus rabbit. The secretary bird is performing its characteristic walking hunt, but the target today is not a snake. The torture breaks out. With a superior physique, the continuous kicks batter the tiny prey. The rabbit panics, but the muscular legs of the hunter have mastered the game. The lightning-fast stomps carrying an impact force of nearly 20 kilograms are continuously delivered, causing the rabbit to collapse completely. Nature is cruel but clear-cut. The assassin holds the prize in its beak, walking calmly in the endless cycle. Winter turns the lake surface into an icy trap. Amidst the freezing water, a coot flock gathers densely. This is a natural survival tactic aimed at enhancing the ability to detect threats from afar.
So they huddle together in tight.
From high above, the bald eagle is patrolling. Possessing sharp vision far superior to humans, This apex predator easily locks onto a weak target below. Gliding close to the lake surface, the eagle unleashes its talons to snatch the victim, using its muscular strength to lift the prey into the air accurately.
But things go wrong. Eagles fill the...
But the challenge is not over. Another eagle rushes in, applying food-robbing behavior. A fierce aerial scramble breaks out, causing the prey to slip and fall. Both predators are left empty-handed. Snake versus bird. Deep in the vegetation, a small nest shelters fragile lives. The parent birds patiently bring prey back, answering the continuous food-demanding cries of the chicks. The caring process takes place relentlessly. Insects are carefully fed to the chicks. But the piece is very fragile, and when the mother bird is absent, is exactly when the opportunistic hunters take action. A snake silently slithers to the nest, taking advantage of the moment the parent birds are away. The predator struggles with the ungrown chicks. Immediately, the mother bird returns and lunges in with astonishing speed. The fierce resistance has forced the snake to step back. Magpie versus mouse. Amidst the rhythm of urban life, a silent struggle for survival takes place right on the sidewalk. A small mouse shrinks back close to the edge of the stone wall, but the peace is quickly broken when a magpie lands. The feathered predator approaches, launches an accurate peck, and firmly grabs the opponent's tail. The magpie's peck concentrates all force into an extremely small point at the tip of the sharp beak. It is strong enough to pierce the skull of a mouse or crack the eggshells of other bird species in just one direct peck. Completely exhausted after the defensive maneuvers, the mouse has to lie flat on the brick floor. A clear testament to the harsh survival law right in the heart of the city. Heron versus mouse. Do you know the great blue heron is the most terrifying stealth assassin of lakeside rodents? In the silent confrontation, they use absolute immobility to completely erase the opponent's vigilance. The S-shaped cervical vertebrae of this bird species is exactly a biological launch pad. When launching a strike, the sharp beak shoots forward with massive acceleration. The natural pincer immediately locks tight, completely eliminating the mouse's ability to struggle or escape. They continuously submerge the target under the lake surface to drain its oxygen and lubricate the thick fur layer. This is a mandatory preparation step to swallow the oversized food mass without tearing the throat. The prizes slip into the stomach, where extremely strong stomach acid will destroy both hard bones and fur. Bird versus weasel. During the day, the mother bird diligently feeds her brood, but the peace quickly shatters when night falls as the mother bird goes foraging. A predatory weasel immediately intrudes. It coldly neutralizes and strips away the lives of the fragile chicks. The predator thoroughly searches every nook and cranny, clearly exposing the cruel food chain law of nature. The next morning, the mother bird flies back with her beak full of food. She continuously looks around, confusedly searching the nest that is now empty, facing the harsh reality. Tiger versus sloth bear. The tiger is an ambush master. On the hillside, it silently stalks the sloth bear. The ambush skill of this feline is so supreme that when it was right behind its back, the bear still did not notice. The tiger patiently stalks the target. The situation unexpectedly changes when the bear startles and turns around, suddenly standing upright on its two hind legs to show off its massive stature, aiming to threaten the enemy. This fierce defense makes the tiger falter and keep its distance. The sloth bear is the most ferocious species in the bear family, and it is not afraid of anyone. Sometimes, the symbol of strength also has its own fears. Bear versus wolf. Amidst the grassland, the mother brown bear is peaceful with her cubs. The mother bear possesses an extremely fierce, protective instinct, because the bear cubs completely depend on them in their early years of life to survive. The silence shatters when a wolf approaches. The wolf is a strategic predator, but facing a mother bear weighing hundreds of kilos is a risky gamble. The mother bear immediately becomes a living wall, just by the action of standing up. She has asserted an absolute inviolable boundary. In the wilderness, a minor injury can also lead to death due to the inability to hunt. Clearly understanding the physical disparity, the wolf wisely chooses to retreat. That predator is also just carrying the burden of finding food for its family. The harsh wilderness does not have villains. Everything is just an endless battle for survival to protect the future generation. In the harsh winter, a prey carcass is a priceless treasure. The brown bear must alone protect its prize against the siege of the hungry wolf pack. The wolves coordinate to distract the solitary one attracting attention while another stealthily approaches from behind. But the brown bear possesses a keen sense of smell and incredible reflexes to protect its life source. when patience runs out and the numbers gradually overwhelm, the bear has to abandon the prize to keep its life safe. The massive brown bear slowly advances through the swamp. Here, a wolverine is tearing at a reindeer carcass. The appearance of the brown bear forces the wolverine to yield, but when it begins to eat, another army arrives. The brown bear recognizes the threat. A crowded wolf pack is narrowing the distance, moving highly tactically. Confusion is clearly visible on the face of the solitary warrior. No matter how strong, facing a pack is always a wrong move. Noticing the situation worsening, the bear strongly jerks the piece of meat, quickly takes its portion, and runs away. An overwhelming victory for those who seize the prey by numbers. Survival power lies not only in fangs and claws, but also in cold calculation. Amidst the white snow forest, a brown bear is fleeing the fierce pursuit of a wolf pack. Being tailed closely, the bear is forced to stop, switching to a defensive state while the wolf pack establishes an encirclement. When the bear tries to continue running, the dog pack immediately tightens their formation, chasing close on its heels, instead of a frontal attack. The dog pack barks continuously, moving around and targeting the target's hind legs. This is a classic stamina-draining tactic in nature. The tactical overwhelm forces it to sit down in the snow. This is a defensive posture, aiming to protect its flanks against the opponent's lightning-fast lunges. The continuous harassment tactic of the dog pack gradually wears down the bear's stamina. It manages to defend from all directions, but eventually, that fragile life cannot hold out. Bear versus bear. In the quiet forest, when the hierarchy is clear, the loser gradually steps back and hides behind a tree trunk as a sign of surrender. Do you know a giant feast is sometimes the origin of cruel battles? Along the coast, a washed-up whale carcass attracts brown bears, thanks to a keen sense of smell. They detect the carcass from tens of kilometers away. This amount of fat is a priceless source of survival energy. However, brown bears inherently live independently. When sharing food together, the hierarchical order is immediate. Conflict erupts between two adult males. They stand upping body weight to push the opponent down to the water's edge. Psychological pressure has decided the winner and loser. One individual accepts yielding and leaves, leaving the survival privilege for the ruler. Bear versus elk. On the gentle hill slope covered with low bushes, a massive brown bear is slowly moving. Its presence does not escape the sight of the elk herd standing on the crest of the slope. They maintain a highly vigilant posture. As the bear descends into the valley, the elk herd begins to retreat. Although primarily eating plants, the brown bear is still a formidable predator.
There he goes again.
Bears always prioritize targeting weak young individuals to load a massive amount of calories with the least risk. The silence disappears when the bear unexpectedly charges down the slope. Despite a body weighing hundreds of kilograms, they can sprint at speeds up to 50 kilometers per hour.
Oh, wow.
The deer herd panics and flees. The defensive formation completely shatters before this terrifying pressure.
Oh, there he is. He's right here. See that? So far. He's hiding now. Look at him.
Deceptively lumbering grizzly can reach a top speed of 30.
The predator shortens the distance with explosive power and quickly wrestles down a young elk. Bear versus caribou. On the vast wildland, a brown bear is dashing with incredible speed.
Bear.
Brown bears are excellent swimmers.
It stopped, didn't it? Look at that.
Ahead, a reindeer is struggling to swim across the river, hoping the freezing water current will act as a barrier to stop the enemy's steps. But nature always harbors cruel truth. The thick fat layer helps them retain heat, while the strong front legs create massive thrust underwater.
I think it's hurt.
The pursuit continues desperately as the distance is irreversibly narrowed.
You have more stamina than a bear, don't you?
Right in the middle of the river, the reindeer's stamina is exhausted before the overwhelming power.
That's right where that. Getting it on.
The brown bear utilizes its massive body weight and lightning-fast controlling skills to extinguish all resistance. In the water environment, the prey completely loses its movement advantage. The hunt consumes a giant amount of energy, but this nutritional reward is the key to survival through the harshest conditions. At the freezing water's edge, the brown bear faces the reindeer. The reindeer abruptly swings its antlers to counterattack, forcing the brown bear to engage in battle. The impact impulse makes the mud splash, completely tearing apart the silence of the riverbank. Thanks to its massive stature, the bear crushes the trachea, knocking down the target. The water current immediately restores its initial silence. The cycle of life and death closes in a flash. In the harsh wilderness, physical strength is exactly the boundary dictating the right to survive. What you have just watched shows that venomous snakes did not become fearsome predators through sheer strength alone. Millions of years of evolution have helped them perfect a weapon that can change the outcome after just one precise strike. But even in the world of venomous predators, every hunt remains a gamble. Just a single moment of lost advantage or one misjudgment can completely reverse the situation. If you found this video fascinating, please hit like, leave a comment to share your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel to continue exploring many more dramatic wild moments. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video.